We have a freeze dryer. The problem with having a freeze dryer is nobody knows what a freeze dryer is or what it does or how to use it or what is the point or purpose. And as far as we could tell, they did not sell them in El Salvador. And if they do sell them in El Salvador, they do a really crappy job at advertising because I could not find them anywhere. And we bought this freeze dryer. It was only 2 years old and it was $6,000 new. So this is an item we really wanted to bring with us because we couldn't replace it here. It was expensive and it would be worth bringing on a shipping container. It doesn't take a big footprint, and with a 20-foot shipping container, we could put a lot more stuff in there and be able to make it cost worthy in that case. For the curious among you, a freeze dryer preserves food. So for an example, we had chickens in Canada, and in the summer, chickens lay a lot of eggs. In the winter, they don't lay a lot of eggs. So in the summertime, I would take their eggs, I would crack them open, mix them up. You don't add anything to it, just the egg white and yolk. Mix them up. I pour them into the trays for the freeze dryer, and I freeze them in the freeze dryer. About 24 to 36 hours later, they've been frozen and sublimated, and all the water has been removed from the eggs. We actually have a bucket underneath the freeze dryer and a pump that sucks all the water out of the eggs. So now you have a hard sheet of crunchy eggs, and I would break them into squares, put them in a blender. I'd whip them up in the blender to turn them into powdered eggs. And you can put them in a Mylar bag, put an oxygen absorber in, seal it, and they're good for 25 years. You want to use them, you open them up, you scoop them out, add some water, and you have eggs to be preserved for a very long time, which is great when you're in a prepper mindset, which is what we were in Canada, and this was a great asset. And I also thought it'd be a great asset here because here we have fresh fruit. Even in our backyard, we have bananas and papayas back there, and anywhere you go, you can get avocados and mangoes and everything else. Well, you could cut them in squares, freeze dry them. You can eat them like candy at that point because they're just like a dried up fruit, but it's not dehydrated. It's different. It still keeps its shape. You can do this with ice cream. They call it astronaut ice cream. It's like a crunchy texture when you go to eat it again. What we thought, because originally we were actually coming here to potentially start an orphanage or help work with an orphanage or work with the orphans when they leave the orphanage. We had many ideas of how we would help out. And one of the things we thought, if we can turn the fruit into a powdered nutritional shake for pregnant moms or toddlers, then this is a great asset to have here. And we could use it for our personal reasons. We could use it for a business, or we could use it just to help other people like that. So this is why we really wanted to have the freeze dryer. I even freeze dried raw liver, thinly sliced for a lady, and she wanted to powder that and put it into capsules for like a nutrition supplement. It would be really hard to take this on a plane. It weighs 150 pounds. If you've seen it in our video, maybe I'll put that here. You can see right here in the video that the freeze dryer, it's heavy and it's the size of the small washing machine. So the freeze dryer was really on our mind when we considered what exactly we were going to do to get our stuff to El Salvador. And because it had coolant and it was an electrical appliance, we need to have the materials safety data sheet from the manufacturer. We got it to our shipping company here to make sure that they had it all for customs.